Jó reggelt kívánok! Tisztelt Hölgyeim és Uraim! Nevem Kárpáti György, a Magyar Kereskedelmi és Iparkamara Nemzetközi Kollégiumának vagyok alelnök, és én leszek ma ennek vendéglátója. Engedjék azt meg nekem, vagy nézzék azt el nekem, hogy az én angol nyelvtudásom nem olyan értékű, hogy hallgató nélkül mindent megértsek, ezért a fejemben lesz a pillanat, hogy inkább német előtt képviselem, de mind a Nemzetközi Kollégium alelnöki természetes feladat az, hogy egy ilyen konferenciát levezessük. Nagy tisztelettel köszöntöm Sri Malay Mishra köztársaság magyarországi nagykövetét, majd Káli Attila, az Ázsiai csendes óceáni főosztály vezetője, a külgazdaság és külügyminisztériumban fog tartani előadást. Továbbiakban Vijay Khanduja, első titkár az Indiai Köztársaság Magyarország nagykövetsége, és az Európai Üzlet és Technológiai Központ EBTC bemutatása követően György Fernandez úr, aki a regionális igazgatója az EBTC. A mai konferenciának a legfontosabb ismérve az, hogy a Magyar Kereskedelmi és Iparkamara nemzetközi munkájának is a kormányok közösen feladata, hogy a távol-keleti országokkal is építse a külgazdasági kapcsolatok. Önök előtt is ismert az, hogy Szijjártó Péter külgazdaság és külügyminiszter úr a kereskedőház projekten keresztül is szeretné Magyarország tulajdonképpeni erejét ott is erősíteni ebben a térségben. India számunkra egy hihetetlen nagy ország világszámát tekintve és gazdaságát is tekintve. És azt tudjuk mindannyian, és ismerjük a sajtóból, ismerjük a gazdaságból, a politikából, hogy India egy igen gyorsan fejlődő ázsiai országgá nőtte ki magát, és történelmében én nem kívánok belemenni, sőt nem kívánok számlából se belemenni, hiszen majd az előadók önöket is tájékoztatni fogják. A tény az, hogy feladat a kamarának is, Magyarországnak is, a külügyminisztériumnak is feladata, hogy próbáljuk meg erősíteni a magyar gazdaságot. Elsősorban az export tevékenységet próbáljuk meg felfrissíteni, és ezzel párhuzamosan, nem másod, hanem párhuzamosan próbáljuk meg a befektetői tőkét Magyarországra hozni. Azt tudjuk, hogy bizonyos iparágok igen fejlettek Indiában, hát hogy csak szoftverfejlesztésre vagyunk, akkor azt hiszem, hogy nem árulunk el ezzel titkot, hogy tulajdonképpen India a világ szoftverfejlesztésének egyik zászlós hajója és vezetője, természetesen a magyarok is ott van. És a kettővel együttesen, ugye a két ország együttesen bizonyára hihetetlen megjelentőségű együttműködést tudnak generálni. Ezen túlben az iparban, ugye India a járműgyártás területén is igen komolyan fejlődik. A járműipar húzóágazatá kezd válni. Magyarországon viszont igen sok olyan terület van, amelyre Indiában már szükség lehet. Például a vízgazdálkodásra, például az infrastruktúra fejlesztésre, és ezen túlmenő még nagyon sok másik iparág. Én nem kívánom tovább húzni az időt, az a kérésem önök felé, hogy próbáljunk meg nem a konferencián részt venni, hogy a végén bombázzuk meg kérdésekkel az előadókat, hiszen nem minden nap van arra lehetőségünk, hogy ilyen magas rangú vezetők tartsanak nekünk itt előadást. Úgyhogy én kívánok mai konferenciához az előadók sok sikert, és önöknek hallgatóságuk azt, hogy ha innen felállnak a végén, akkor olyan információk birtokában menjenek el, amire azt tudják mondani, hogy ez megérti idejét. Köszönöm szépen. És felkérem nagykövet urat, hogy tartsa meg, ő is köszönjük.
Thank you, Mr. György, Kárpáti, Vice Deputy Chairman, Committee for International Affairs of the Hungarian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, all distinguished dignitaries on the panel, all distinguished members of the audience, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to you all. It's a great pleasure for me to represent India at this very important forum which we are having this morning. I also welcome all of you to understand a little more about India because I feel that there is very little understanding about contemporary India here, in everything. Only the cultural part is a little appreciated without being understood, but the economic part is neither appreciated nor understood. India, since its independence 65 years ago, or a little more, has come a long way, and today is one of the emerging economies of the world, a very key market for a global development and global inflows of capital and investments. We are notching currently a rate of growth of, average rate of growth of 5.5%, which is well above the European average rate of growth by at least double, including Hungary. Our rate of growth is a little less than China at the moment, but we hope that over a period of 20 years, we will be able to come very, very close to China, if not exceed them. India, the unique thing about India, we are characterized by 3 Ds, what we call democracy, demography, and dividend. And demand, I am sorry. Democracy, we are the largest democracy of the world, as we all know. Since our independence, we have had an unbroken rule of the people expressed in the parliament through successive elections. There has been no disturbance to that. In other words, there has been civilian governments throughout. India's democracy stands out. In the last elections, general elections, national elections, we had over 800 million voters who were eligible to vote, out of which nearly 660 million voters voted actually. It is double the total population of Europe. Demography, we are the youngest nation in the world. 65% of our population is below 35 years of age. And 50% of our population is below 25 years of age. In 20 years' time, our population would have aged by 35, whereas the average aging population of the world would be between 60 to 65. Thus, we consider ourselves not only the largest population, but also the population with the largest demographic dividend, which is a great asset for an emerging economy like ours. The third component is demand. Demand is of the market, of the immense consumer market which is in India, which the chairman just referred to. We have at least, on a conservative count, 300 million consumer class, which comes from our middle class population who can consume, who constitute the market force, which is again a very substantial number. All these three make India a unique phenomenon, a unique economy in the world today, because there is no other country in the world which matches, which has all the three characteristics as India. No wonder countries range from Japan, China, US, Russia, all the big powers you can name them, they are making a beeline to India in search of the Indian market, the Indian potential to absorb, to consume, to absorb investment, to consume marketable goods. However, it is a pity that over the last nearly 14 months that I have been here as the Ambassador of India, I haven't found great enthusiasm among the Hungarian industry, among the Hungarian entrepreneurship class to even look at India, let alone know India, study India, look at India as an emerging market and see what can be done. We have had numerous sessions such as this in our own embassy, where we have a business facilitation center that is open to everybody. We give free information about our entire range of industry in India, about our own apex chambers of commerce and industry. Like you, Hungarian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we also have an Indian Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, FICCI. And surprisingly enough, FICCI and the Hungarian Chamber have had MOUs in the past. We also have had MOUs between another apex chamber, which is CII, Confederation of Indian Industry. We've had several government-to-government agreements to facilitate trade, to do away with the double taxation, to have a preferential arrangement for investment, promotion and protection in both our countries. But the Hungarian industry, the Hungarian business class, either doesn't know about it or does not care to know about it. So I think if such meaningful seminars and conferences do not come out with meaningful outcomes, it would be a waste of time of everybody. We have invited in our last such conference which we did in India, in the Indian Embassy in Budapest, we had invited a delegation of Hungarian industry and enterprise to visit India to the largest Indian trade and industry fair, which is held in the month of November, right now. It just got over after 2 weeks in Delhi. There was no response at all. There was no inquiry at all. And we offered our service to facilitate the visit of a delegation to meet with the top key industry sectors which the Hungarian industry would be interested in dealing with. We now have a big industry and trade conference again in India, in the state of Gujarat, in Western India, in the month of January, in mid-January. It's a conference called Vibrant Gujarat. And if you check our website, we have posted some information about this big event. This is a huge event which is attended by at least 5,000 people on one forum at one time, where at least 1,500 MOUs are signed with Indian companies from all over the world. Can we ever have Hungary come and attend these great events in India? I know there are a lot of Hungarians looking at Shanghai, way beyond India. But let me tell you, India has its advantages. If only people knew the advantages, for which, as I just mentioned, big economies, big leaders of big economies are coming, thronging to India. And there is no reason when Hungary, which is, as you well said, looking at the East, wanting to come out of the very set mechanism of the European Union, which has been consistently showing a very low rate of growth and will continue to show a very low rate of growth as per all economic indicators. To come out of that, set mindset, the thinking, of course you are a part of the European Union, nobody disputes that. But the world is now all over. For industry, for business, we need to expose the Hungarian people to a world beyond the borders of Europe. The world of Hungarian industry does not lie only in Europe. You need to come out. The Indian Embassy in Budapest will offer every facilitation possible, right from business visas, right from fixing your B2Bs, meetings in India, with any desired partner, from opening up our database of our Indian industry to you, and moving step by step. And let me tell you, today our new government, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, is a very dynamic government. It is not only spearheading a social transformation within India, which is very much needed, but also economic change. And the economy is responding to it. Our business, our industry, our domestic entrepreneurship is responding very positively to it. This is a very, very appropriate time, in our view, to look at India. In fact, I always say that the present leadership in Hungary and the present leadership in India quite look alike. They are both forward-looking, both wish to develop the country and take the countries forward. And above all, there is a huge understanding between our two countries, which unfortunately has not translated into a very deep-rooted economic and trade understanding as it should. Why I am saying all that? Look at the figures. Our trade has been stagnating for the last 5 years at least. Our bilateral trade, showing a cumulative bilateral trade figure of about 600 million. Is it worth 600 million that our trade should be? When even with small countries, Hungary has trade, and I don't want to name the small countries. You can look around. You have billion plus trade. And does Hungary want to say that there is nothing to trade with India? Of course there is. We have to put our minds together. Here is a good opportunity. I call upon the Hungarian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Come together. Let's sit down. It is a well-known fact that we have to diversify our trade. We have been trading with 6 commodities for the last 10 years. Today the world is changing. We don't have to trade only in those 6 commodities. We can trade in 16 commodities. We can bring in 10 more commodities. And mind you, the other commodities are coming to Europe, are coming to other countries in Europe, but are not coming to Hungary. There is no reason to explain it. Our investment, look at the investment picture. Indian investment in Hungary is growing. Well-known fact. Today, we are among the 4th or 5th largest investor in Hungary. Mr. Káli will bear me out. We have a cumulative investment today of $1.8 billion, nearly $2 billion. We are recently going to have a very big investment by Apollo Group. You all know that. There is another big computer agency called Grey Matter. Also they are coming. And I want to hear what Mr. Fernandez has to say about bringing innovative technologies to both sides, India and Hungary. Because both are innovation-oriented economies, very dynamic economies. We have substantial scope in bringing innovations into our respective countries. Yesterday I was meeting the president of the Hungarian Academy of Sciences. We got talking. We found there are so many areas of convergence in science and technology. We have barely scratched the surface. We have barely scratched the surface. There is so much more to do. This is the time when we have to, as we say in English, take the bull by its horns, which means take the problem head on. We should know what the problem is. Why there is no trade? Why there is lack of proper investment? The investment from the Hungarian side in India is minimal. We have barely one pharma company in India, and you can guess the investment. Yes, it's true that your government is looking more into foreign investment into Hungary, as every country should be, your country also. But investment, mind you, is a two-way flow. Investment builds itself when it is from both sides. And ideally, we should have Indian investment going into Hungary and Hungarian investment growing into India. That is how it should be. Investment has a sister relationship with trade and commerce. The more you get to know the economy, the more you develop friendship with it. And as I mentioned, there are very many things which we can do. We have opened our doors from the Indian Embassy, and I'm sure your embassy in India is also doing likewise. This is an excellent opportunity for the industry of Hungary to look at India. It's not that I'm selling India. I have to sell India, of course, as my country. But you have to look objectively at the Indian market today and compare it with many markets in America, in Europe, in your neighborhood, in Asia, and see the advantages which India could offer to you. Now, in the current regime of Prime Minister Modi, all the facilitations available to foreign investors is there, and more so, they are being facilitated. There is one single platform called EBTC platform, which is about to start, where investors can do everything in one window. The information is available with us. If ever you come, care to visit us, sit with us, talk to us, what we can do together. In India now, the mantra, the magic, is skilling people, providing them skills in various aspects. Because we believe that when you skill people, you give them employment. And when you give them employment, jobs, the economy runs better. The economy produces better. You have more productivity. When you have more productivity, you have more exports. When you have more exports, it builds into your national economy and into your growth. Simple logic. We believe in that. We are doing that. In fact, we are exporting our skills to many countries in the world. You'll be surprised. Our SMEs, for example, I'll just give you one sector, SMEs, small and medium enterprises, you all know. SMEs constitute 40% of our industrial growth. A bulk of our industrial production, 40% is taken by SMEs. And they constitute nearly 100,000 labor force. Government is doing a lot to promote our SMEs, giving a lot of incentives. Our SMEs are even engaging with other SMEs in other countries. We have collaborations in our SMEs. We have proposed to the government of Hungary also. Let us sit together, because Hungary is focusing a lot on SMEs, on building your SMEs. Let us sit and talk what we can do from India, how our SMEs and your SMEs could come together in many areas. Small entrepreneurs, they could be helped, they could be handheld, they could be guided as we do in India. And once they come up to a certain level, they are on their own. They not only earn for themselves, they are productive members of the economy. They are earning for the economy. There are very many things, but I think time will not allow me to go more into that. I will just end my talk by saying that today's India is a very different India, is a very dynamic, productive, engaging India, trying to engage with the rest of the world. And given the excellent relations which Hungary has with India, there is no reason why we should not avail of that opportunity. We from the embassy side are always there to cooperate with you. And therefore my special message to you, all of you, this morning, is to please look at India as an important market in the world, in every way, in every sense. Thank you very much.
Köszönöm szépen nagykövet úrnak ezt a helyenként kritikai megjegyzéseit is. Gondolom, hogy ezek többnyire találnak is nálunk. Nem védekezni szeretnénk. Kamarának az egyik feladata az, hogy pontosan ezeket a kisközépvállalkozói réteget próbálja helyzetbe hozni. Az, hogy India felé ez kicsit nehézkes, azt hiszem, hogy ez magyarázatra nem igen szorul, hiszen egyszer a távolság is elég nagy, másosorban nincs meg még annak a tulajdonképpen gazdasági, politikai háttere, amely biztonsággal működtethető kisvállalkozásoknak is teret biztosít. Én nagyon bízom abban, hogy a következő években a külgazdasági politika az ebben komolyabb segítséget fog nekünk nyújtani, többek között azért is, mert amit itt nagykövet úr is említett, Fület megütötte, hogy nem akarja India eladni magát. Magyarország szívesen eladná magát India felé, és hogyha erre meglennének azok a lehetőségek, amelyek kínálkoznának. Én bízom abban, hogy a jövő években, a következő elkövetkező években ugye a külügyi stratégia, mint a külgazdasági stratégia is támogatni fogja ezeket a vállalkozási formákat. És ezért kérem Káli Attila főosztályvezető urat, hogy ennek a részleteiről tájékoztatást adjon, hozzátéve azt is, hogy tulajdonképpen a kereskedelmi projekt az erre irányul, pontosan erre irányul, hogy a kis középvállalkozókat is valamilyen forradalmi helyzetet tudja hozni. Az megbeszállott.
Köszönöm szépen a lehetőt úr is. Először is megragadnám az alkalmat megköszönjem a Magyar Kereskedelmi és Iparkamarának a mai rendezvénynek, amely a tartását, illetve a minisztérium részéről küldött meghívást. Nagykövet úr előadását is nagy érdeklődéssel hallgattam, és tulajdonképpen innen is szeretném folytatni, tehát a minisztérium részéről egyetértünk azokkal egyrészt az érvekkel, másrészt az értékeléssel, amit nagykövet úr az indiai gazdaságban rejlő lehetőségekről a mai reggelen adott. És azt gondoljuk, hogy a jelenlegi kereskedelmi és befektetési kapcsolatoknál jóval intenzívebb kapcsolatépítést lehetne Indiával folytatni. És ha megengedik, akkor itt mai napon egy átfogó általános képet adnék arra, hogy a minisztériumban hogyan látjuk Indiát, hogyan látjuk az indiai gazdaságban és a kétoldalú gazdaság kapcsolatokban rejlő lehetőségeket. Amit látják, hogy az előadásom címe is már ezt tükrözi, de ugye ezt, amit mondtam, hogy egyetértünk, majd követő értékelés volt India korlátlan lehetőségek országa. Ez egyfelől ugye biztató, másrészt azért tudnunk kell, hogy a lehetőség és az eredmények nem fognak könnyen az ölünkbe hullani, tehát igenis dolgozni kell, ezért komoly kapcsolati rendszereket kell kiépíteni, nagy energiát kell befektetni, de úgy látjuk, hogy ez India vonatkozásában mindenképpen hosszú távon megér és fizetődő lehet a magyar vállalatok számára. Nagyon röviden nem akarok itt nagyon sok időt ezzel eltölteni, csak ugye az országnak a méreteit, illetve a kulturális, nyelvi és egyéb jellegű sokszínűségét mutatja. Ugye az ország hatalmas kiterjedéséből adódnak mindezek a tényezők. Itt az alján ugye felsorolva vannak ugye a legnagyobb indiai városok, ezek közül ugye új Delhiben működik a Magyar Nagykövetség, illetve idén megkezdte működését Mumbaiban a magyar főkonzulátus, mind a két misszió, erről már részletesen is beszélek, mind a két misszió természetesen áll az indiai piac iránt érdeklődő magyar vállalkozások rendelkezésére. Itt a következő diából itt azt emelném ki, hogy nagykövet úr is már említett, hogy a demográfiai tényezők kapcsán, tehát egy figyelembe méltó adat, hogy az indiai lakosságnak több mint a fele 27 év alatti, illetve 14 éven aluliak is több mint 350 milliós létszámot tesznek ki. Az ország lakosság ugye évente több mint 20 millióval növekszik, ami azzal is jár, hogy gyakorlatilag szinte minden hónapban 1 millió új munkavállaló lép be az indiai munkaerőpiacra, ez egyfelől nyilván hatalmas lehetőségeket kínál, másrészt kihívás elé is állítja az indiai kormányzatot, hogy ezeket a munkahelyek megteremtését támogassa. De minden összességében azért ezt inkább lehetőségként kell tekintsünk. Itt ezen az ábrán ugye jól látszik az a figyelemre méltó növekedés, amit az indiai gazdaság az elmúlt évtizedekben produkált. Ugye itt felhívnám figyelmet elsősorban mondjuk a 2008-9-es globális pénzügyi és gazdasági válság kirobbanásának idejében is az indiai gazdaság 6,7%-os növekedést tudott produkálni, majd az elkövetkező években rendre 8% fölött. Az utóbbi években kezd egy kicsit megtorpanni ez a dinamikus növekedés, azonban az új Narendra Modi miniszterelnök úr vezette kormánynak határozott törekvése, hogy újra egy dinamikusabb növekedési pályára állítsa az indiai gazdaságot. Az eredmények már kezdenek látszani, az előrejelzések szerint az elkövetkező években újra hamarosan 6,5% fölé fog nőni az indiai gazdaság növekedése. Ez mindenképpen további lehetőségeket fog teremteni. Hozzá kell ugyanakkor tenni, hogy ugye a Ján is meg van említve, tehát ahhoz, hogy az indiai egy romosan növekvő népesség mellett egy 8% körüli lenne az a gazdasági növekedés, ami hosszú távon fenntarthatóvá tenni az indiai fejlődést. Röviden beszélnék arról, hogy India, ugye, amivel kezdtem is, tehát a hatalmas földrajzi kiterjedése miatt is, illetve a 29 tagállamból álló ország, amelyek ugye méretben és népességszámban rendkívül eltérőek. Ebből adódik, ugye, hogy Indiában ugye, különböző területeken kulturális, illetve nyelvi különbségek sokszor meghatározóak lehetnek. A Modi kormányzatnak egy határozott törekvése az, hogy a helyi kormányzatok, illetve a tagállami kormányzatoknak nagyon mozgásteret adjon. A magyar vállalatok szempontjából azért is érdekes ügy, mert rendben szembesülni lehet tagállamonként eltérő adózás és egyéb jogszabályokkal, vámokkal és egyéb olyan szempontokkal, amik nyilván az ismerete elengedhetetlen ahhoz, hogy az adott területen a vállalatok sikeresen működhessenek. Ezeknek a megismerésével egyébként a mi nagykövetségeink, illetve a Mumbaiban működő főkonzulátus is szívesen adnak az érdeklődő vállalatok részére tájékoztatást. Ezt a diagramot azért tettük fel, hogy nagyon jól mutatja, hogy az indiai kereskedelem, tehát egy hatalmas kereskedelmi deficitet termel minden évben a Indiának a kereskedelmi forgalmában ez jelentkezik. És az utóbbi időben az indiai kormányban van egy határozott törekvés arra, hogy megpróbálják ezt a deficitet különböző nem vámi jellegű eszközökkel csökkenteni, de azt gondoljuk, tehát úgy látjuk, hogy ez összességében azért egy áthidalható, tehát nem jelentenek igazi olyan akadályokat a cégek számára, amik áthidalhatatlanak lennének, de minden esetre egy olyan tényező, amivel számolni kell. Egy másik érdekes adat, ugye Indiának a 490 milliárd dolláros éves importjának 54%-át gyakorlatilag két a szénhidrogének, illetve az arany és drágakő import teszik. Így nyilván Magyarország ezeken a területeken nem igazán tud érdemben megjelenni az indiai piacon, tehát gyakorlatilag az ezen kívül eső területeken kell nekünk megkeresni azokat a piaci lehetőségeket, ahol érdemben meg tudunk jelenni. Ugye a másik érdekes dolog, hogy várhatóan már az idei évben Kína lesz az India legnagyobb importforrása, megelőzve az Európai Uniót, illetve ugye a szénhidrogének kapcsán látszik, hogy ugye az Egyesült Arab Emirátusok, illetve Szaúd-Arábia még kiemelt helyen van, ez nyilván ennek köszönhető. Kicsit beszélnék a kétoldalú kapcsolataink kereteiről, ugye egyrészt nagyon röviden ugye a kormány által az elmúlt években meghirdetett keleti nyitás politikájáról, melynek célja az volt, ugye, hogy a Magyarországot sikeresen tegye az Euró-Atlanti térségen kívül is, erősítve az Európán kívüli partnereinkkel való politikai és gazdasági együttműködést. Nyilván Ázsiában kiemelten igaz, hogy a gazdasági kapcsolatainknak a megalapozásához szükség van a legmagasabb szintű rendszeres politikai párbeszédre. Az India esetében a legmagasabb szintre tavaly októberben Orbán Viktor miniszterelnök úr látogatása során jutott. Tehát magyar részről a legmagasabb politikai szinten is megerősítésre került az, hogy Indiára hosszú távon komoly politikai és gazdasági partnerként tekintünk Ázsiában. És a miniszterelnöki látogatás mellett ugye 70 magyar üzletember részvételével sor került üzleti fórumra és egyéb gazdasági rendezvényekre is. Én azt mondom, hogy ez jó alapot teremt arra, hogy hosszú távon is meglegyenek a lehetőségek a magyar gazdasági szereplők számára Indiában, és a politikai szándék az továbbra is, és a politikai támogatás továbbra is ott áll a magyar gazdasági szereplők mögött, hogy az indiai piacot illeti. Nagykövet úr is említette, én is itt felsoroltam itt a diákon azokat a legfontosabb egyezményeket, amelyek segíthetik a gazdasági kapcsolatok erősítését, ugye a kettős adóztatás elkerüléséről szóló egyezmény, a beruházások ösztönzéséről és kölcsönös védelméről szóló megállapodás, illetve a 2005-ben aláírt gazdasági együttműködési megállapodás, amelynek keretében rendszeresen működik a két ország közötti gazdasági együttműködésről szóló vegyes bizottság. Legutóbbi ülésére tavaly a miniszterelnök látogatás megelőző napon, tehát október 15-én került sor. A következő ülés pedig várhatóan jövő évben Budapesten fog megrendezésre kerülni. A bizottságnak új társelnöke van magyar részről Szabó László úr, aki a Külgazdasági és Külügyminisztérium parlamenti államtitkára és miniszter helyettese, tehát ő a GVB-nek az új magyar társelnöke, aki nagyon elhivatott egyébként az Indiával folytatott gazdasági együttműködésünknek az erősítése mellett. Érdekességképpen egy kiírtam magamnak a legutóbbi vegyes bizottság ülés jegyzőkönyvéből azokat a területeket, ahol a két fél azt látta, hogy jó lehetőséget kínálkoznak a kölcsönösen előnyös együttműködésre. Az a lista elég hosszú, tehát ez azt mutatja, hogy az együttműködés széles spektrumán van lehetőség előrelépésre, tehát felsorolnám röviden a KKV közötti együttműködés, energetika, védelmi ipar, vegyipar, építőipar, vízipar, tudományos technológia, mezőgazdaság, vízgazdálkodás, egészségügy, turizmus, infrastruktúra fejlesztés, felsőoktatás, tehát egy nagyon széles spektrum az együttműködésnek, ahol tényleg jelentős potenciált lát a két kormányzat, illetve a ülésen résztvevő gazdasági szereplők. Nagyon röviden nagykövet úr is említette, ugye, hogy az elmúlt években gyakorlatilag stagnáltak a kétoldalú kereskedelmi forgalomnak a mutatói. 2011-ben volt ugye a magyar exportban egy jelentős kiugrás, ez még túlnyomó részt mobil telefonok az exportjából adódott, ugye azóta ez a tétel, ennek az exportja jelentősen visszaesett, gyakorlatilag azóta ilyen 250 millió dollár körül éves forgalomra, éves exportra, illetve az indiai oldalról érkező behozottak egy 360 millió dollár körül stabilizálódott. és az idei első 8 havi számok is nagyjából hasonló értékeket mutatnak, tehát érdemi valós bővülésre nem számítunk ebben az évben sem. Az exportunkban ugye gyakorlatilag gépek, gépi berendezések, ezen belül elektronikai berendezések, a meghatározott, illetve feldolgozott termékek. Ugye látszik itt a diagram, hogy élelmiszer export és egyéb termékeknek az export gyakorlatilag minimális. Importunkban szintén a feldolgozott termékek, illetve a gépi berendezések azok, amik jelenleg a legnagyobb tételt teszik ki. Ugye nem beszélhetünk magyar-indiai gazdasági kapcsolatokról anélkül, hogy a két ország közötti befektetési kapcsolatokról ne ejtsünk szót. Nagy örömmel fogadjuk, hogy az indiai cégek, ahogy nagykövet úr is említette, igen jelentős mértékben ruháztak be Magyarországon az elmúlt időszakban. Ugye 1,5-2 milliárd dollár között tehető az az érték, amit eddig indiai cégek működőként Magyarországra hoztak, és kb. 8-9 ezer embernek adnak közvetlenül munkát. A magyar kormány ugye továbbra is támogatja további befektetéseknek a Magyarországra érkezését, de ez Magyarország kedvező befektetői környezetet tud biztosítani. Tehát nagykövet úrnak innen is mondanám, hogy tisztelettel, szeretettel várjuk a további indiai befektetőket Magyarországon. A nagykövet úr is röviden említést tett az Apollo Tires-nek a beruházásáról, talán a legutóbbi sikertörténet. Ezen a téren ugye a cég gyöngyös halászi zöldmezős beruházása 975 embernek fog munkát adni, és ez egy 146 milliárd forint értékű beruházást tett. Ilyet és hasonlókat a jövőben is várunk, ezt majd követni. A másik irányba is meg kell említeni, tehát Magyarországból Indiába is történt tőkekihelyezés többek között gyógyszeriparban, illetve energetikai területen, ezeket is reméljük, hogy a jövőben több ilyenre fog sor kerülni. Ugye fontos, amikor Indiáról beszélünk és a kétoldalú kapcsolatokról, tehát fontos tudni az indiai piacra bejutni vágyó magyar vállalatoknak, tehát hogy ugye a magyarországitól, illetve az európaitól gyökeresen eltérő üzleti kultúrában szembesülnek. Indiában kiemelt jelentősége van annak, hogy az ember megfelelő helyi kapcsolatokat építsen ki. Ez, ahogy már mondtam, tehát az jelentős energiabefektetéssel jár, de nélkül gyakorlatilag nem lehetséges sikeres üzletet kötni. Ez a eltérő üzleti modell az gyakorlatilag azt akarjuk itt ezzel mondani, hogy arra kell számítani, hogy nagy forgalom lehet és viszonylag kicsi haszonkulccsal kell számolni annak, aki kezdetben az indiai piacon sikeres kíván lenni, tehát ezeket a különbségeket nyilván figyelembe kell venni. De nagyon hosszasan nem mennék benne az új módi kormánynak a Make in India elnevezésű programja, amelyben Indiát egy résztermelési bázissá kívánják fejleszteni. Miniszterelnök úr ígéretet tett, Módi miniszterelnök ígéretet tett arra, hogy az indiai bürokráciát vissza fogják szorítani, egy ablakos gyors ügyintézést ígérnek a vállalatoknak, és hát reméljük, hogy ez valóban érdemi könnyítést fog jelenteni az érdeklődő magyar cégek számára is. Itt ugye erről a diáról egy dolgot emelnék ki, tehát a miniszterelnök célkitűzése, hogy a jelenlegi az Ease of Doing Business mutatóban a jelenleg India 144. helyen áll a világban, az egy éven belül 50 helyen előrébb akar kerülni India, tehát ez jól mutatja azt, hogy megkívánják könnyíteni a külföldi vállalatoknak az indiai tevékenységét. Ugye ebben a programban 25 szektort nevesített az indiai kormány, gyakorlatilag a gazdaságnak teljes egészét lefedő, tehát igazából nem is sorolnám fel, de minden területen várják a külföldi befektetőket és érdeklődő cégeket. Nagyon röviden, hogy erről már beszéltem a GVB jegyzőkönyv kapcsán, csak fel vannak itt sorolva azok a szektorok, ahol jelenleg lehetőségeket látunk, lehetőségek kínálkozhatnak magyar vállalatok számára az indiai piacon, tehát nem sorolnám most itt újra fel. És gyakorlatilag utolsó diaként elmondanám, hogy mind az új Delhiben működő nagykövetség, mind a Mumbai főkonzulátus, illetve az ott dolgozó külgazdasági atasék, illetve a misszióvezetők is természetesen folyamatosan állnak az érdeklődő magyar vállalatok rendelkezésére. Tehát én arra biztatnék mindenkit, hogy amennyiben konkrét az indiai piaccal, ottani szabályozással kapcsolatos kérdése van, illetve a kapcsolatépítésben szeretne segítséget kérni. Mind a minisztériumhoz, mind a két misszióhoz forduljanak bizalommal, illetve várhatóan a jövő év első felében Bangalore-ban is megnyílik a Magyar Nemzeti Kereskedőháznak a helyi irodája, tehát ők is állnak nagy vállalatok rendelkezésére. És ugye amivel kezdtem, tehát India nagyon sok lehetőséget kínál, nyilván meg kell dolgozni érte, de én azt gondolom, hogy ez megélhető, és ehhez sok sikert szeretnék kívánni mindenkinek. Köszönöm szépen.
Köszönöm szépen főosztályvezető úrnak ezt a kimerítő tájékoztatását. A utak ugye megnyíltak, mindannyian érezzük azt, hogy a lehetőségek tárháza az megvan. Kihasználtsági mutatók azok relatív alacsonyak, de bízunk abban, hogy egy ilyen konferencia azért meghozza a kedvet ahhoz, hogy a befektetésben is, és ugye az exportban is a vállalkozások legalábbis valamilyen formában ugye csiklandozva érezik magukat, valamit tenniük kell.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Mr. György Kárpáti from the Hungarian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Ambassador of India, Mr. Malay Mishra, has given a presentation giving you a broad overview of the bilateral economic and commercial relations. Mr. Attila, Káli has covered a lot of the ground on what is happening in India, and Mr. Fernandez from the EBTC. Captains of Industry, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm thankful to the Hungarian Chamber of Commerce and Industry for organizing this event, which will create awareness about the potential of India and about the scope for further improvement in Hungarian-Indian economic and commercial relationship. With the help of a PowerPoint presentation, I would like you to give you broad trends and developments in the Indian economy. This slide shows you as to how we stand in the world in terms of purchasing power parity. India is the third largest economy in the world in terms of purchasing power parity. We are just behind US and China with a GDP of 6.7 trillion. Again, this is not absolute terms, it's in terms of purchasing power parity. And the per capita income is estimated at US dollars 5,500 approximately, compared to about 11,000, 12,000 for China and about 53,000 for the US. In this slide you are seeing as to how India has grown in the last about 15 years. After our independence in 1947, we had been growing at a very nominal rate of growth, which was 2 to 3%. It was called the Hindu rate of growth. However, after the unshackling of the Indian economy in 1990-91, we have really taken long strides. Our GDP has increased rapidly from a mere 450 billion to about US dollar 2 trillion currently. You will see in the last 2 years it seems to have plateaued out. There has not been much growth. This has been because of the recessionary conditions all over the world. Here you will see the overall GDP composition, which has been undergoing change after the liberalization of the economy. Agriculture, which had constituted 41% or more till about 1990-91, has shrunk to about 15% now. At the same time, the service industry has taken some share from it and has grown. The industry sector has remained constant at 27%, and the service sector has grown from 40% to 60%. Substantial increase in the service sector. However, the employment distribution is yet to change. Agriculture, with its 15% contribution in the GDP, still continues to provide employment to about 50% of the population. The service sector provides employment to just about 28%. This is where our challenge lies. Whereas the service sector has increased in terms of its share in the GDP, it has not been able to provide employment commensurate with the expansion in its share. You've already heard India is a young country. 50% of our population is below 25 years of age, and only about 5% of our population at present is above the age of 65 years. This situation is likely to continue even in the next about 20-25 years. Even till about 2050, the percentage of population, aging population, would be less than 10%. And this compares very favorably to other developing countries also, not just the developed countries, but other developing countries also, as you can see at a glance. We have a very vibrant and dynamic middle class. In rupee terms, it mentions from 2 lakhs to 1 million, we consider it as middle class. As we earlier have seen, in terms of purchasing power parity, this translates into a good number, almost 5 times of what it is at present. And the middle class consists of 300 million people. They are demanding better goods and services. They are also providing vibrancy to the industry. It's a knowledge-based economy. 1,000 multinational companies have set up research and development centers in India. And this middle class is poised to grow to become double to almost 600 million in the next about 10 years. Our ambassador mentioned about the 3 Ds which provide a unique identity to India. You've already heard that we are the world's largest democracy. Almost 800 million people, voters were eligible to vote, out of which almost 65% voted in the last general elections. The Bharatiya Janata Party secured a victory in the elections held in the month of May. And breaking with the trend in the past where we had coalition government, for the first time after about a decade, we have had a stable government at the center. Here's at a glance as to how the GDP growth all over the world, in advanced economies, in emerging economies look like. The advanced economies are growing at about 2% at present. The emerging and developing economies are growing at 4.4%. China has a major share at 7.4%. India follows second at 5.6%. However, by next year, we're likely to close the gap. China is still slowing down. The growth rate is likely to be 7%, 7.1%, whereas Indian economy has started rebounding, and we're likely to have a growth rate of 6.5%. I earlier mentioned as to how the GDP growth rates were transformed after the liberalization. Then you will see that in the 3 consecutive years, just prior to the 2008 crisis, we were almost at 10% growth rate. This has fueled the expectations of the people. The last 2 years, which witnessed growth at less than 5%, really created a shock in India. People were not happy with the growth rates. And this was one of the reasons why a new government was brought in to take again India to a high growth rate path. Our demography itself requires that we grow at about 8 to 10% for the next about 3 decades. The new government has initiated a number of steps, and there are signs of recovery already in terms of GDP, where compared to last year, in the first quarter our GDP grew at 5.7%. Last year GDP was 4.7%, so 1% increase already in the first quarter. The second quarter, it has grown at 5.3%. The numbers are just coming. The index of industrial production has also rebounded in the first half of this year. Inflation has been a challenge. It was 10%, almost 10% for the last about 2 years in terms of consumer price index. With tight monetary policy, we managed to bring it to closer to 5%. However, it still poses a challenge. We would really like it to be in the vicinity of 3%. In today's RBI, the central bank review, the key rates have remained unchanged, primarily to tackle the high level of inflation. previous government in its interim budget had announced a fiscal deficit of 4.1%. The new government decided to continue with it. It was being seen as a challenge, and it was being seen as something which would not be possible when the new government took over. However, with positive GDP growth rate, higher GDP growth rate, drop in fuel prices, we are likely to meet this target. Government is going full steam and in a planned manner about disinvestment of important public sector enterprises, which involves selling of shares of Oil and Natural Gas Commission, Steel Authority of India. Along with that, we are also undertaking the allocation of crude coal blocks in this financial year. This shows you at a glance as to how our imports and exports are. In terms of merchandise, we have almost 800 billion US dollars of import and export total trade. The balance of trade is not in favor of India. However, we make up to some extent with the export of services. And the current account deficit has shrunk significantly to 1.7% of GDP last year compared to 4.7% a year earlier. With the drop in fuel prices this year, we expect this to be narrowed further. Compared to $800 billion of trade that we have very negligible trade with Hungary. It was earlier mentioned that it consists of some items of the traditional basket like textiles, food products, beverages, as also some engineering goods. However, there is tremendous scope. Both these countries are manufacturing a lot of things which can be traded, where we have advantages with each other. We only need to look at each other in a focused manner. This shows you at a glance FDI and portfolio inflows in India, whereas the foreign direct investment is more or less stable in the range of 30 to 40 billion US dollar per annum. The portfolio inflows have fluctuated depending on global conditions. They are becoming more or less stable, but 30 billion FDI inflows are really small for the country of the size of India. Another challenge is to increase the share of manufacturing in the GDP. Right now, we have only about 15% of the share. The government has announced new industrial policy, according to which we aim to take it from 15% to 25% in the next 10 years, along with the creation of 100 billion jobs. You will see also that our share, the share of manufacturing exports, is insignificant at about 1.6%. This also needs to be commensurately increased. The Government of India has been undertaking a planned way of development. In the 12th plan, which was started from the year 2012-13 and which is going to finish in 2016-17, we had made a target of investing about $1 trillion US dollar, 970 billion US dollar in the infrastructure sector alone, out of which the private sector contribution was to be almost 50%. It consists of electricity, roads and bridges, telecommunications, railways, irrigation, water supply, ports, oil and gas, airports, storage. The target perhaps may not be met because of the sluggish conditions we've seen in the last 2 years. However, even if we meet about 60 to 70% of the target, there is still tremendous scope for Hungarian companies because they are good in engineering aspects. There are companies which are good in water supply and sanitation. All these complementarities just need to be leveraged. This is inward FDI flows, cross-country comparison. India, as I said, is just about at 30 billion US dollars per annum. If we see corresponding figure for China or Singapore or emerging economies like Brazil, Russia, Indonesia. They are higher than India, and this is where the government of India is laying special emphasis and is appealing to companies all over the world to come and make in India. Our Prime Minister has given a call for two-way FDI. He says one is foreign direct investment, and to the domestic companies he says first develop India. Mr. Attila Káli has already, and the ambassador has already talked about bilateral investments. India has about 1.8 billion US dollar of investment. This is likely to increase also with the investment of Apollo tires and grey matter. The new government has taken over just about 6 months ago, and they have initiated a lot of new programs. One signature campaign is Make in India. As I said, the aim is to make India a manufacturing powerhouse. The initiative has a slew of proposals designed to get local and foreign companies to invest in the Indian manufacturing sector. The key pillars of this program are going to be skill development and use of information technology. The second, probably you may not have heard, which is Jan Dhan Yojana. This is about financial inclusion. We have number of people to whom subsidies are given. They are in the poor strata of the society, and to have these subsidies transferred directly, there was a need that they open bank accounts. A target of opening 75 million bank accounts was announced by the Prime Minister in his Independence Day address, which was on 15th August. Fortunately, and it's a good news that this target has already been met and has been revised to 100 million by the January of next year. Again, there was no, these were going to be zero balance accounts. There was no compulsion for anybody to put any money into this. However, the people have themselves put money, and the government of India has been able to raise, the banking sector has been able to raise about $1 billion from these accounts. These will provide insurance also to the poor people to the extent of rupees 1 lakh. Another campaign Prime Minister has started is Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, to make India clean so that we can compete with the best of the best. I am giving some important proposals, some important policy initiatives of the government. Foreign direct investment to the extent of 100% of FDI is permitted in railway projects, in almost all types of projects, be it suburban rail corridors, high-speed trains, dedicated freight lines, locomotives, coach manufacturing, freight terminals, signaling terminals, you name it, except the operation part and the safety part. 100% FDI is permitted in almost all types of projects. There has been liberalization of foreign direct investment in the defense sector as well, which has been raised from 26% to 49%, with provision for even 100% on a case-to-case basis. For the first time, the foreign portfolio investment has also been permitted in the defense sector to 24%. As I said, the Government of India has major infrastructure program of investing about $1 trillion in a 5-year period. The industrial corridors, or development of industrial corridors, is an important component of that. We are going to have these industrial corridors both on the east and west coast of India, linking them with the north and having a special corridor in the northeast region. And National Industrial Corridor Authority has also been established, has also been announced, it's going to be set up soon, to coordinate, monitor and integrate the development of industrial corridors. In addition, these industrial corridors are going to be linked with 100 smart cities. We're going to develop 100 smart cities which are going to have state-of-the-art technologies and provide manpower and affordable housing to the people. These are some of the quotes our Prime Minister has taken over 5 months ago, and this is what many people have to say. As we already said, Indian Embassy is always willing. You have a business facilitation center. Please make use of it. We are available anytime at your convenience. My email ID is given here. If there are any questions, we'll be happy to answer. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Köszönöm szépen Vijay Khanduja úrnak a beszámolóját. Itt nagyon fontosnak tartjuk mi ezt Magyarországon, hogy ezért ezt látni kell, hogy mi egy kis ország vagyunk. És ebben a kis országban azért nagyon komoly technológiai lehetőségek vannak. Tehát az, hogy a Rapolopályák mégis egy Magyarországot választott a beruházási színhelyéről, az is jelentheti, hogy itt megfelelő mennyiség és minőségű munkaerő áll rendelkezésre, és megfelelő szintű ez a bizonyos lehetőség kihasználása. Ami a magyar vállalkozásokat illeti, mint a bevezetőben is elmondtam, fontos lenne az, hogy a szolgáltatás területén tudjunk egy kicsit mélyebben működni, hiszen ez nem igényel különösebb, hát ha olyan, nem igényel különösebben tőkét annak érdekében, hogy valaki megfelelő mennyiség árut egy szolgáltatást kivigyen külföldre, és ennek az ellenértékére bizonyos ideig várnia kell. Úgy gondolom, hogy a kereskedelmi projekteknek az egyik feladata az, hogy biztosítsák azt a lehetőséget a vállalkozóknak, hogy lehetőleg gyorsan a pénzükhöz jussanak, és ugye ebben az Exim Bank segítségére is számítunk, a képviselőink között üdvözölnek, és hozzá is lehet kérdéseket föltenni, én gondolom a szünetben vagyok tudsz maradni. Folytatjuk a konferenciát, és a következő egy konkrét eset tanulmány bemutatása lesz, és megkérem György Fernandez urat, hogy egy olyan szervezetről tartson itt nekünk ismertetést, amely nagymértékben azért jött létre, és azért van, hogy hozzásegítse a vállalkozókat ahhoz, hogy egyáltalán valamilyen formában helyet találjanak ebben a hihetetlen nagy országban, területében és gazdaságában is. Tessék!
Thank you for that introduction. Mr. György Kárpáti, Deputy Chairman, Hungarian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Sri Malay Mishra, Ambassador from the Indian Embassy, Mr. Attila, Káli, Head of Asia Pacific Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, and Mr. Vijay Khanduja, First Secretary, Embassy of India. It's very nice for me to be part of this panel, and distinguished guests, a very good morning to you all. Before I even start this presentation, on the plane from Mumbai to Budapest, I was thinking of one thing. I've been to Budapest, this is my second trip to Budapest. I love the city, I love the architecture, I love the sausages, and of course I love the goulash that you have to offer. And this morning, every panelist mentioned about younger population in India. People below the age of 35, 50% of the country. Today, as a young citizen of India, I have a declaration to make to all you Hungarian businesses and entrepreneurs. India wants your business. Now is the time. If you think of looking a little later on in the years to come, you will miss the bus. And today my objective is to share with you how the European Business and Technology Center can help you in either creating your strategy for India, or to help you implement your technologies in India, or to localize your technology. Because remember one thing, what works in Europe need not necessarily work in India in terms of technology. You need to tweak the technology, you need to customize that technology for India. So let me begin. I have a long presentation, but since most of my panelists have already shared with you a lot of statistics on India, I'm going to skip through that very quickly so that I can focus on why India and what EBTC, that's the European Business and Technology Center, can do to help you in coming to India with your businesses. So I will talk about EBTC, focus a little bit about the Hungary-India relations. Very little, just 2 slides on that. Focus on the clean technology companies that exist in India, because the European Business and Technology Center is set up to help companies and SMEs and researchers find business opportunities in India that are focused on clean technology. And I know Hungary has that clean technology and has those technologies, because Organica, which is a Hungarian technology which won an award, I think in 2013, for being the most innovative technology in the world in terms of being a clean tech company is in India, is in New Delhi. So why not have more of such companies look at India? And I'll also talk to you about some success stories of what the European Business and Technology Center has done in India. So just to give you an understanding of EBTC, the European Business and Technology Center, we started off in 2008 when the Indian government approached the European Commission requesting for clean technologies from Europe to be transferred to India. So it was an initiative from the Indian government that went out there to the European Commission and said, listen, you guys have the great technology, let's bring that to India. And that's how EBTC was formed. So it was formed in 2008. By 2010, we had 4 offices, one in New Delhi, which is our headquarters, and also the capital of India. I come from the Mumbai office, and I manage that office. We have an office in Calcutta and an office in Bangalore, or Bengaluru right now. So we are in all the 4 corners of India. So we are here and able to help the European SMEs and researchers find opportunities in India. What we do is we are here to help you right from your strategy phase. If you're looking at India, everyone is a little scared. They say, oh, there is corruption. There is 144th in the ease of doing business in India. That's where we rank. How can we bring our companies to India? It's a lot of speculation. We have set up EBTC, or the European Commission has set up EBTC to solve this problem, to help you in identifying where you want to set up, how you should set up, who should be your distributor, who should be your partner. And EBTC is your trusted partner in setting up your businesses in India. Mind you, your tax-paying money pays my salary. So you should use us. We should use such initiatives started by the European Union or the European Commission. So EBTC focuses on 4 sectors. We focus on biotechnology, energy, environment, and transport. So these are the 4 sectors that are into clean technologies that we would like to help. So if you're a business sitting in this room today and you want to have a discussion with me a little later on, please feel free. I will be right here in the next hour to share with you some ideas on how you can look at India as a business destination. Like I said, how do we do that? We help you to understand the Indian market. The Indian market is complex. We're trying to bring some structure to that, to the Indian market. So that's where we can help you. We can help you find a project or a partner. You can look at, if in case you're a technology and you want to file your patents in India, we are able to advise you on how to file your patents in India. Establish your organization in India, where you should establish your organization. I had a conversation with a gentleman from Ganesha, who's sitting right here. He looked at establishing his organization in Bangalore. Absolutely the best decision to make, because that's the IT hub. So we are able to give you that kind of information. But what's most key is localizing your technology. Like I said before, your technology from Hungary might work in Hungary or might work in Europe. But the water qualities in India are different. The air qualities are different. There is, different areas which may not be the same as Hungary. So you might have to localize your technology or customize your technology. And we can bring those Indian researchers who have the brain power to talk to you, to share with you what's required for India, and that's how your technology can be customized for India. We are also able to have very smart researchers from Hungary. If they have a technology that they have only in paper, they want to commercialize the technology, we can bring those researchers to the Indian companies. You've heard of the Tata Group, you've heard of the Larsen & Toubro Group. These are large companies that are operating in India. The Reliance Industries. They are ready to help the European technologies or researchers commercialize those technologies. In terms of funding, I used to be a trade advisor with the French government in 2006 to 2008. One of the biggest challenges was money. European SME has great technologies, but when they want to come to India, funding is very, very difficult. They don't want to invest their own money. We will help you raise capital in India. We have the relationships with the venture capital firms. with the private equity firms, we are able to help you raise capital. So don't think money is an issue anymore. If you don't have money, we'll help you with the money. We don't fund you because we are a funded initiative, but we are able to help you raise capital. So key facts of Hungary and India, I will not talk too much on this, but I just had a few areas since I don't know what the other panelists will be talking about. So I'm just going to skip through these slides because it's more or less the same. This slide, let me talk about, we have close to around, I was doing some research and preparing my presentation, and we have Tata Consultancy Services, we have Sun Pharma, Genpact, Crompton Reeves and SMR, which are already Indian companies in Hungary, and which generate close to around 8,000 employees. So 8,000 Hungarians are working for Indian companies, which is a great number. I think the number can only increase. Since I represent the European Union and I'm supposed to look at helping European companies set up in India, this is one slide which is talking about the investment from European companies. 155 billion euros have been invested in India since from 2001 to 2003 to 2013. But if you just look at the first three countries, which is UK, Germany and France, 65% of businesses from these three countries are already in India. UK is the highest because of course the British ruled India, so there's also that relationship and that cultural understanding which already exists. So maybe that's the reason why as to why a lot of UK businesses are already in India. In fact, you ask an Indian business, which is the first country you would want to invest in, and they say UK. It's just because of the understanding of the culture, which I think the ambassador also mentioned. We understand cultures. Hungarians understand Indian culture, so why not? Why not have your businesses with us? This is a very interesting slide. I'm talking about the euro versus the Indian rupee. If you look at 2011, which is the first quadrant, the Indian rupee was around 58. 1 euro was 58 rupees. Today it is around 77 rupees. So just imagine if you had invested your capital in India, it would have appreciated. So if you just something to just to strike a bell when you're thinking of investments in India. So I am here to talk about clean tech companies, and these four sectors that I'm talking about. So let me show you a few slides on the European clean tech companies that are already present in India. You have Organica, which I talked to you at the start of my presentation, which is a Hungarian company, which is based in Delhi. In case you need, some kind of a testimonial, approach those guys, approach the Chamber of Commerce. They will be able to help you in putting you in touch with them, just to get what are the best practices that they had, what are the challenges that they have experienced when they were looking at India, so that you feel more comfortable in preparing your strategy for India. Again, Caston and Aegis, which are two other companies which are also based in India. Clean tech funds that are in India, this is a slide showcasing what are the private equity and venture capital firms that EBTC works with. In case you are a company that is into clean technology and is looking at India and you want to raise capital, we have the relationships with all of these international and Indian funds. Allo Group is a French fund based in India. We have Macquarie again, which is an international fund based in India. Plus we also work with the development finance funds. The North Fund, IFC, IDBI, which is an Indian Development Bank fund, Techis, which is a Finnish fund, and of course the Asian Development Bank. So don't worry if in case you are an SME and you're looking at, you're looking at raising money and you want to fund your technology, we can help you with that. So think of India with, as a destination with absolutely no fears, and the EBTC is here to help you. The Indian Embassy is here to help you. The Hungarian Chambers of Commerce is here to help you. It's all about you thinking about bringing your business beyond the European borders. Just to share with you my story, I lived in Europe for 9 years. Close to around 6 years in Paris and 3 years in Geneva. I could see the decline of Europe. And when I told my mother and my friends, listen, I'm coming back to India. They were like, what's wrong with you? Why do you want to come to India? You're better off there, right? But I could see that there was tremendous opportunity coming up for a young person like me in India. Jobs are, they are being created by the day because there are so many companies starting up in India. International businesses One of the panelists mentioned about the Americans, the Chinese, the Europeans, all looking at India as a business destination. So we have opportunities there. Why would I want to spend my time in Europe, which is on the decline? So look beyond Europe. Yeah, I might say it's really strong in my statements, but that's the fact. So why India? We also already talked about the 3 Ds, which I've also mentioned in my presentation. So the largest democracy, 1.24 billion people. Think about it, if you have a technology or a product, you have a market of close to around 1 billion people that are ready to buy a product. Young population, English. This is something which is really very interesting. I used to work for an Indian conglomerate earlier, and one of the things they mentioned about investing in Europe was that they were looking at 2 countries, Poland and Hungary. When they looked at languages, they said that Hungary, most people speak English, and that's the reason why, as to this company, which is now a call center, called Aegis, which is part of the SR group, is looking at Hungary to invest. So in the near future, maybe the Indian embassy can take that up with them. They are looking at investing in Hungary and starting a call center which can recruit Hungarians that speak English. That's the big opportunity. Poland, languages can be an issue. They don't speak English, so that's the reason why, although the GDP is the fastest growing in Europe, Hungary can still outbeat them in that. We talked about the middle class, so let me not go there. But India today is a stable economy. That has been rated by Standards & Poor, which rates countries and economies. So today we are a stable economy. It's the best time to invest in. If you look at the traction between 2015, we have a new government. And if you want to be skeptical and give them a year to really roll out and implement their policies, I would say look at next year to come to India, more of a familiarization trip, see what it is, and then come in 2016 if you really want to invest. But I'm telling you, time is of essence. The faster you come, the better. But I always say you want to be really sure, take your time, do your homework, and then come to India. In terms of opportunities and challenges, clean tech opportunities are close to around 100 billion euros. By 2020, this is the sunrise sector, which I'm talking about, which is biotechnology, energy, environment, and transport. These are the 4 sectors which have given a lot of impetus by the present Modi government. We've been always talking about these 4 sectors. Companies want to invest in it. Investors, institutional investors and banks are investing in it. If you have a technology or a company, look at India right now. We have a new government. Most of the panelists have already talked about it. Just one statement from our Prime Minister which said red carpet. He's ready to give you a red carpet welcome, and he's going to abolish the whole red tape discussions or the red tape that we were talking about earlier. So that's a nice opportunity. We have a government that is focusing on economic development. Use this time now. Make in India is a nice opportunity started by the government. Maybe you want to look at the website. It's www.makeinindia.in. Take a look at it, look at the opportunities, do your homework, give us a call, we'll be able to help you. In terms of just attractiveness in terms of renewable energy, this is a statistical slide done by Ernst & Young. India stands at number 6 in terms of just being an attractive country for renewable energies. I'm happy to share the slides with you. Ilona from the Chamber of Commerce will be happy to circulate the slide to all of you that are present here, so that you can understand and read a little more on the statistics and go a little more in depth into here. This is just in terms of what companies, CEOs of companies are talking about in India. Before joining EBTC, I joined EBTC for the last 9 months. I've been with EBTC, but before this I was working in Geneva with the World Economic Forum. And at Davos, I took the opportunity to talk to a few CEOs on what do they think of India as a business destination. And this is what they have actually quoted, and I've used their quotes in this presentation. Carl Slime from GM, who's the head of General Motors India, says, "We cannot remain a global industry leader without a strong presence in India. And just another one, India today is not an emerging economy. It has fully emerged and it is in its full bloom. This is from this ex-CEO from Nokia. Today the CEO of Nokia is an Indian who is based in Helsinki. So yeah, just a few which you can read at a little later time. The opportunities and trends. Now let me get into more details on these slides. I've got, in the next 10 minutes I should finish. India needs a lot of energy. We have a huge population. We're still using primitive methods of using coal, etc., to get, to meet our energy needs. So this is a good opportunity for a Hungarian company. If in case you have some innovative technologies on solar or on wind or any other areas, please get in touch with us. We will be able to help you in your Indian strategies or in your India strategy. The government of India has also been focused on this sector, so there is a lot of opportunities. I'm happy to share the next 1 hour with you at the back or somewhere in this room to just talk to you and focus on opportunities, because I know that the audience in this room are not all of you are from clean technologies, so I don't want to make this a very boring presentation. Energy opportunities, we have a lot of opportunities again in the wind energy areas. India is the 5th largest installed wind capacity, technology capacity in the world. So we have a lot of wind plants or windmills around in India. We just want to increase that from close to around 50 gigawatts, which that's the potential, and we want to maximize the potential of that in India. Specific opportunities, that's something which I will share with you when I have a one-on-one meeting with you. I get that opportunity, because there are opportunities that, on the right, if you are a company that is into manufacturing of power conditioning devices or solar inverters, there is a need right now in India. I have the companies that want to work with you, so get in touch with us. We are here with tangible, opportunities for you. It's not that I want to make a presentation and then go back to India. I want to take some businesses from Hungary and help you in your India strategy. I think Mr. Khanduja had mentioned about some events that were taking place in India in 2015. These are a few events. I would strongly urge you, get in touch with the Hungarian Chamber of Commerce. We are a partner of EBTC. You guys can come together as a group of companies, as a delegation from Hungary. We are happy to set up a European pavilion. You'll be there with the Germans, you'll be there with the French, you'll be there with the Spaniards. But at the same time, you get a lot of visibility, particularly on the smart cities of India. That's an exhibition. If in case Budapest is a smart city, according to me. If you are best practices, come to India, share your best practices at this event. I mean, it won't cost you much, because you will benefit by being, partnering with the Hungarian Chamber of Commerce as well as with EBTC. Environment opportunities, there's a huge opportunity in the waste and water area. We have the whole Ganga River, I'm sure all of you have known of it, the Ganges in English. We want to clean that. If you have some great technologies to clean the river Ganga or the Ganges River, do get in touch with EBTC. We'll be able to put you in touch with the right people. If you come on your own, it can be tough, because there's everyone right now, the Americans, the Chinese, everyone trying to vie for that project. It's good business in terms of investment. It's good money for your buck, if I can call that so. So look at that opportunity as well. I'm going to skip this. Transport opportunities. Right now, everyone is focusing on e-mobility or electric vehicles in India. So if there are, any technologies from Hungary that you have that I've got yourself, get in touch with me. This is the time. Everyone, I just was doing a report for EBTC. We have helped a Swedish company called Clean Motion, which could be a competitor. But these guys have already come to India. They are making the electric vehicles, manufacturing it in India, and they are really going to do well, because we need electric vehicles, and that's the way forward, at least for the most parts of the world. So get in touch with me. I will be able to help you. Biotechnology, my last few slides coming up. In terms of biotechnology, we have biopharma, which is a very interesting area. Most of us, this is a very nascent sector in India, but again, there are opportunities that are existing. EBTC has a very strong reputation in this area, so in case you are a company in biotech or biopharma, do get in touch with us. Research and innovation opportunities. If you are a research university or a research group, we can help you commercialize your research in India. That's the role of EBTC, to help SMEs and researchers. So if I'm just talking to the crowd, didn't get the opportunity to actually meet you. So if there are researchers in the group, do get in touch with us. How do you find a project in India? What you need to do is, if in case you're a company and you're looking out for a project in India, get onto the EBTC website. We are very transparent. We share all the information with you. It's on www.ebtc.eu. We share projects that are available in these 4 sectors. So if in case you're looking out for a project in biotech, remember that you will get, this is a snapshot of the website. You click on project opportunities, you get the information you require. Just send me an email with the reference number, which is under the project reference right here, and we will be able to put you in touch with the right company. We try to save the European SMEs their money. So we try to do most things virtually, because if you come down to India, you're going to pay for your air ticket and your accommodation. Why not have a Skype call, meet with these companies online, get an understanding if they really want to do business with you. Because sometimes I notice that most people say, yeah, we want to do business, but at the end of the day, they're not very serious. So get to that person who's absolutely serious, and then come down to India. That's my only advice for anyone that wants to work with any country for that matter. Yeah. Send me that emails or send it to projects@ebtc.ca. This is a good opportunity. EBTC is also the nodal point for the Enterprise Europe Network, which, if in case if you have not heard of it, it is a great opportunity for you to showcase your technologies onto this network, because we have people all across the globe, which are based in Europe as well as in India and America and wherever, that are looking at innovative technologies of companies and projects. This is a great opportunity for everyone in the room. If you have an something innovative and you want to share your information, get onto this website. It's absolutely free of cost. And let me also mention to you, most of the services of EBTC are free of cost. Use us. It's your tax-paying money that has started EBTC. Use initiatives like us. Just to skip through the, glance through a few success stories, we have a French company called CLETER, which is a French company that makes floating solar panels. Because in India, to acquire land or to buy land is very expensive. So they make these floating solar panels, which are floating on the rivers of the east of India. They generate the electricity, and they can actually provide electricity to a village in India. Yeah, so there's a very good opportunity. They use that as a first step. They're looking at other rivers in India as well. Aquabion is a product of the EEN, or the European Enterprise Network. We help them find the Indian partner. I'm going to share with you these slides, so the success stories are there. I've also got a few brochures with you for you, so you can get all this information. I know I'm running out of time. So these are a few companies. Newen, again, an Italian company that is into monitoring of buildings. We help them in terms of finding a partner as well as setting up an office in India. AquaQ, which is a Swedish company that is into monitoring of water. We actually created the whole ecosystem for them, because they came to India with a fancy technology, but they didn't realize that the water levels or the water qualities in India are very different from Sweden. So we actually helped them in finding the distributor. We had CSIR, which is a research institute in India, helping them customize the technology for India. They had IBR, which is a research institute in Sweden, also give some intelligence to that technology. Today they're doing extremely well in India. So they have also started looking at commercializing this great technology. Again, a company from Slovenia that we have called Harry. I'm happy to share more information on this. This is now towards the last few slides. How do you enter the Indian market and create your own success story? So these few slides are actually talking to you. With EBTC, we don't work like most trade organizations. We don't get to know of the technology and then talk to the companies in India. We actually talk to the Indian companies. We understand what is required in India, and then we come and approach you and say, okay, Mr. XYZ in Hungary, we have this requirement in India for wastewater management. Do you actually have the technologies for that? So it saves up your time, it saves up everyone's time. Rather than listen to you, take your technologies and look through 1.21 billion people and just to find out if that really works, if there's someone who's really going to use that technology. Like I was talking to you, we don't want to waste your time. We have the Enterprise Europe Network, or the e-tech platform, the European Technology Experience Center, where you can actually showcase your technology sitting in your office in Hungary. You showcase the technology from your office. We have a platform. We will invite the Indian companies to my office. They see and they have a conversation with you. You talk about your technologies. If someone is interested, then you can bring that technology to India. You don't want to send your technology through customs and duties and regulations and all of those things before you actually know that there is a requirement for your technologies in India. So think of it and think of using such initiatives right at the start. You save up on your money, you save up on the Indian company's time. There's a great conversation that you can have on the phone and through this virtual platform, so it adds a lot of value to you. Value-added services, I can go very quickly on this. The technology showroom that I just talked to you about, which is the e-tech platform. We also have office spaces. If in case you're coming to India and you don't have an office, come and sit in my office. I have a cabin for you. I have a desk for you. We give it to you at a very cheap rate because we are here to help the European SMEs. We are here to help you save up on your money, because when you come to India, there's a lot of investments that you will be looking at initially. So don't waste your money on buying a fancy office or renting a fancy office. Rent your space with EBTC. We are happy to do your B2B meetings. I know the Indian Embassy as well as also does this. We work with the Indian embassies. We work with the Hungarian consulate and the Hungarian embassy. We are here to collaborate. We are not competitors. We are here because we are funded by the European Union and the European Commission. We always work with everyone and collaborate with every international organization or international representative organization in India. Research to business, I'm not going to talk too much on it. It's about helping your researchers commercialize their technologies. Technology localization model. Again, I told you that it is all about tweaking and customizing the technology for India. So we are happy to do that for you. You can have these slides, they will give you more details. Making pilots happen. If in case you are a pilot and you want to commercialize that in India, we can do that for you as well. IPR help desk, if in case you want to file your patents in India, because without filing your patents in India, trust me, you come with your technology, in 2 days we will be able to copy it. We have the brain power, we can do that. Don't make that mistake, file your patents in India. And we can help you. What you can see in green is all the free areas where we can advise you, we can help you file your patents. There are some areas where we charge, because there is a charge to file a patent, so that's what EBTC will charge you. But again, it's very nominal cost. Few points to remember when you are looking at India for EU organizations. Identify the need first. So if there's a need for your product, identify that need. And you can do that when you work with EBTC, because you're not coming to India to visit an exhibition and then find the need. You can do that online sitting in your office. We are here to help you identify that need for you. Set long-term goals. Most European companies come to India with a 3-year or a 5-year plan. If that's your plan, don't come to India. Don't waste your time. Don't waste anyone's time. It takes you between 7 to 10 years if you're looking at breaking even. Yeah? Investors know that, companies in India know that. Speak to Organica, they will be able to tell you. Speak to the Hungarian Chambers of Commerce, speak to anyone. 3 to 5 years, forget it. Okay? Invest in partnerships. Don't underestimate the value of local expertise. India has very good technology as well. Most European technologies think that they have the best technology. Sorry, India also has some very good technologies. Try and collaborate. If you have that, ego or that thinking, you're going to fail in India. It's very sad because you'll be bringing your millions of euros to India and you will fail. So think of that. And of course, adapt your technologies to India. And that's where EBTC can help you. Because if your technology works in Europe, it need not necessarily work in India. So with that, this is just to give you some more of our details. I would like to say Kosanong, and thank you very much for giving me this time. I know I went overboard, but I have a few more. My flight is at around 4 o'clock this evening. I need to get to the airport, but I'm happy to spend more time with you. If you're looking at India strategically, and if you're really focused on India as a country, we are here to help you. I think all of us sitting out here are here to help you. Thank you.